Alright, time for the solutions for the rotation of figures assigned. So in this first section here, it's just asking you to graph the image using the transformation. And so here we're doing a 180-degree rotation around the origin, in case you don't remember. If you have two coordinates and you're trying to do a 180-degree rotation, all you have to do is just change the sign on both of those. So, for example, x here is at the point 4, 0. If you want to do a 180 rotation, x is going to be at negative 4, 0. So that's where my x prime is going to be. M is at 2, negative 1. It's now going to be at negative 2, positive 1. There's my n prime. G was at 0, negative 4. Now it's going to be at 0, positive 4. And then R is at 4, negative 3. It's going to be at negative 4, positive 3. And that gives you my R. And you can connect those up to make your figure. So it's the same figure, just did a 180 around the origin. Moving on, if you're going to do a 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation around the origin, remember counterclockwise is that away. In case you've forgotten, there's a little function that can help you out. If you're going to go counterclockwise 90 degrees, you're going to switch the order of your coordinates and make the first one the opposite sign. For example, L here has the coordinates of 3, 4. Well, if you change the order, you're going to get 4, 3. And then you change the sign on the first one, you're going to get negative 4, 3 as your new coordinates for L. And so L, I'm going to go negative 4, 3. That's going to be where my new L point is. That's going to be L prime. I'm just going to do that with all these. Z is at 4, 5. Switch the order, 5, 4. Make the first one negative. Negative 5, 4. So that's where my Z prime is going to be. Connect those up. And then N is at 5, 2. Switch the order. 2, 5. Change the sign on the first one. Negative 2, 5. It's giving me my new N location. So there's N prime. Connect that up. And that's where my new figure is going to be. Moving on to 3, if you're going to go 90 degrees clockwise, remember that's that away. That's a negative 90 degrees, in case you learned it using the negative and positive degrees. This one, again, you're going to switch the order, just like on the other 90 degree one, but you're going to change the sign on the second coordinate to get your new spot. So let's take N for example. N is at negative 1, 0. Change the order. 0, negative 1. And make the second one the opposite sign, so it's going to be at 0, 1. And that's where my N is going to be. There's my N prime. Y is at negative 1, negative 2. Switch the order, change the sign on the second one. Negative 2, positive 1. So there's my Y prime. A is at negative 5, 1. Change the order. 1, negative 5. Change the sign on the second one. 1, 5. There's my new A prime. B is at negative 5, 3. It's going to be at 3, positive 5. So there's my B prime there. Connect those up. Same figure, but 90 degrees rotated around your origin. And then this one we have a 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. That's this way. And again, we can use that same rule to get the new coordinates. Switch the order, change the sign on the second one. So if you look at, say, L here, that's at the point negative 3, 1. Change the order, change the sign on the second one. It's going to be at 1, 3. So I'm going to go 1, 3. And that's where my L prime is going to be. F is at 0, 2. Change the order, change the sign on the second one. You're just going to get 2, 0. So there's my F prime. C is at 1, 5. Change the order, change the sign on the second one. You can get 5, negative 1. So that's my C prime. A is currently at negative 2, 5. Change this order, change the sign on the second one, which was your original x value, so it's going to be positive 5, positive 2. So there's my new A. Connect that up. Ta-da. Figure, trends, rotated. These ones are going to write a rule to describe the transformation. It's basically just all this function stuff. So this specific transformation is a 180-degree rotation, which, if you were to write it as a function, you just change the sign on both of them, negative x, negative y, and you're good to go. On 6, this one is also a 180-degree rotation, and the function is still the same. You just change the signs on your coordinates, and you'll get the new spot, so negative x, negative y. On 7, this would be a clockwise rotation, and it's going to be just a 90-degree one, so 90 degrees clockwise rotation. And the function for that is x, y, going to y, negative x. On 8, this one is actually the exact same thing as doing a rotation, 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. And the function is still the same. xy goes to y, negative x. And then 9, on this section, you graph the image following the function. We have xy going to negative x, negative y. That's just a 180-degree rotation. So this point is going to be just on the opposite side. This one is going to be the opposite side here. You just got to change the signs on both your coordinates. So this one had coordinates of negative 4, 2. It's going to be positive 4, negative 2. Because we're going to do a point. Figure, done. Next one. Your coordinates, you're going to switch the order and change the sign on the first one. So if you were to take this point, for example, that's negative 3, negative 1. When I change the order, I can get negative 1, negative 3. Change the sign on the first one. 1, negative 3. So I'm going to go 1, negative 3. That's my new coordinate for that. This one is at negative 1, negative 1. Change the order, change the sign on the first one, you get 1, negative 1. This guy here is at negative 3, negative 4. Change the order, change the sign on the first one, you get 4, negative 3. And this guy is at negative 1, negative 4. Change the order to get negative 4, negative 1. Change the sign on the first one to get 4, negative 1. And we get this figure here. This guy is really similar to the other one, but we're rotating the other way. Take your coordinates, change the order, change the sign on the second one. So you have the point 2, 2, change the order, still 2, 2, change the sign on the second one. You can get negative 2, 2. You're just going to put them right there. This point, before I put it there, was the point negative 2, 2. Change the order, it's going to be 2, negative 2. Change the sign on the second one. It's going to give me, oh, sorry, I messed that one up. It should have been 2, negative 2. There we go. On the first one, and then this one's going to be 2, 2. Okay, coordinates for this guy. That's negative 2, negative 3. Change the order. Negative 3, negative 2. Change the sign on the second one. Negative 3, positive 2. And then this guy, coordinates of 2, negative 3. Change the order. Negative 3, 2. Change the sign on the second one. Negative 3, negative 2. Give me these coordinates here. And now I got that one. And finally 12 on this section. Change the sign on both of them. So if you have 1, negative 1, it's going to be negative 1, positive 1. And if you have the points 4, negative 1, it's going to be negative 4, positive 1. And if you have the coordinates of 3, negative 4, you can get negative 3, positive 4 for your coordinates. Connect that up, and you're good to go. And we got this last section here. Find the coordinates of the vertices, given the rotation. If you're going to go 9 degrees counterclockwise, remember that your function is going to be switching the order and changing the sign on the y value, or the first value there. So if I change the order on n, I'm going to get -5, -1, but I need to change the sign on the first one. So it's going to be +5, -1. E, I need to change the order, change the sign on the first one. 2 is no longer negative, and then get -1 second. H, change the order, that's no longer going to be negative, it's going to be positive. So we can get 3, 4. Because in that one, if you're going to go 90 degrees counterclockwise around the origin, you're going to do the same thing here as well. Change the order on this one, change the sign. So 1 is not going to be positive anymore, it's going to be negative. On n, change the order, the 5 is not going to be positive anymore, it's going to be negative, so you get -5, -3. And then on E, change the order, change the sign on the first one, -4, -1. So change this, switch the order, change the sign on it, on that second one. And because this next one, you're going to do 90 degrees clockwise. That's going to give you the function xy goes to y -x. And so we're going to switch the order again, but we're going to change the sign on the second one after we've switched them. So t prime, switch is going to give me -3, change the sign, +2. On A, change the order, -1 goes first, +4 is going to happen for your y coordinate there. I prime, change the order, change the sign on the second one, you can get 0, +3. And then S, you're going to get change the order, change the sign on the second one, -2. It used to be positive, now it's a negative. And we're going to do a 180 degree rotation. Your coordinates are now just going to be the opposite sign. So it's actually really quick to do. L prime is going to give you 1, 1. S prime is going to give you 1, 0. G prime is going to give you -3, 0. And then U prime, -2, 4. That gives you that. And that's all of them.